welcome to my little paintbrush. So excited you're here to paint with us today. I am Miss Sarah, and together we are going to create a dinosaur in an egg. It's really cute. I hope you have a good time. Now before we start, remember that Miss Sarah's rules still apply even though we are not in the studio together. Remember to be kind to yourself and patient as we learn together. Not everybody paints the same. We're all unique and different, so our paintings will be different. And that's what makes this world so beautiful. So let's get started. First of all, I am going to grab my flat brush. It's a bigger brush. Any flat brush works. You just want something that's going to cover this whole space here. Okay, so we're gonna start by painting our egg. Be sure to put your brush in some water, loosen up the bristles, gently tap it off, maybe wipe it on a napkin. Okay, and my egg is red. But with every color I use, I want to mix some white in with it. So this is how I like to situate my paint on my plate. You can put all your colors out and make sure your white is in two separate clean piles so we don't contaminate our white with all our colors. Okay, so let's start with our white, pull it over here to our red, and let's mix it. Give it a good mix. Make sure you get the color you want. If you want it more red, just add more white. I'm going to keep mine pretty light here. There we go. And I like to pat mine. Pat it so I get these streaks of white in my paint. I love that. So as we go, you get different shades. Okay, so let's start with our egg. And we're going to paint in a smiley shape motion. See that? I want to keep our brush moving the same direction as our egg. This is going to help our egg look more round. So as I'm painting, I'm going to keep moving my brush in a smiley shape. Okay, we're going to try really hard to get those edges nice and smooth all the way around. I'm going to come on this side. This is warming us up to paint that dinosaur. Okay, now if you want it a little lighter, all you have to do is put some red on your brush, or white on that brush, not red. Put some white on there and go back and forth and you'll get those lighter streaks in your egg. Okay, make sure you have enough water on your brush so that your paint goes on nice and smooth. So I'm going to go around trying hard not to pick up my brush so I get that smooth edge. And right now my canvas ends here, but yours doesn't. You can wrap your egg all the way around the bottom of your canvas to finish it off. Just lift up your canvas and paint the bottom. Okay, we're going to do this side too and see how I'm trying not to pick up my brush as I go around my egg. Kind of have to slow down to get that smooth result. Okay, let's paint the edges too, being really careful not to paint our dinosaur. Right? We want to try and leave that. Now if we accidentally paint some of our dinosaur, that's okay. We'll take care of that when we get back to our dinosaur. So let's go all the way around the hands. Trying not to pick up my brush as I go around there. Keep blending your paint in, back and forth, and see how I'm still going in that smiley shape, right? Every time I go down and brush my egg, I always go in that direction. Okay, and we're going to put these triangles. I'm just following my line very carefully with my brush, going around my feet. Okay, so when you're filling in these small little surfaces with a big brush like me, you want to be sure to use the toe of your brush. That's the tippy point. Okay, you'll use this part as you are painting. Let's fill that in. There we go. Keep going back and forth. That smiley shape as we go. We're going to go around our feet. Nice and easy. And see, I went into my feet just a little bit right there, and that's okay. We're gonna come back and paint that later when we do our feet. There's no need to worry about it. We're just gonna do our best. Okay, so let's do this triangle too. Just nice and slow. Okay, so we have this area, right? And it's really small, so I've got to use the very tippy point of my brush to get that part. Be really careful not to paint inside our dinosaur if we can help it. That's tricky, so if you need to use a smaller brush to do that, that's all right. You can definitely do that. All right. We got our egg painted. Okay, once you're to this point, if you want to put some more white on your brush, just put these streaks in there, back and forth. You can do that. You just want to be careful not to brush them out too much. You'll lose it. Okay. I think we're happy with that. Got our egg on there. Let's let it dry for a minute, okay, before we do anything else. Make sure my edges are done, check my sides, check the bottom, and then you can check, make sure around the paws are done here. Okay, now that we're done with our egg, let's take our brush, rinse it out. Make sure you get all the red paint out, okay? We need to make sure our brush is clean before we move on to green, because it will show through. All right, let's let our egg dry, and we're gonna make some green. We're gonna mix yellow with our green to make it a little more limey. Okay, so we have two different shades on our dinosaur. We have our face, which is lighter green, and our spikes here are darker green. So I'm going to make my green by mixing a little bit of yellow with a tiny bit of green. Mix those together. Okay, once we have that mixed, I'm going to add white. And mix that in there. See how we get this really light green now? I want to keep it pretty light, just like that. Now we're just going to fill in our face here. Back and forth, and this time I'm going in a rainbow shape, okay, with my brush. Right, following that. We're just going to fill it all in, being really careful not to get any red on our brush. Our egg should be dry right along there, but just in case it isn't, you want to be careful not to touch it. Okay, go down here. Finish up our dinosaur. Okay, back and forth. And around our paw. It's okay if you go into your spikes and your paws a little bit, because it's just another shade of green that you're going to be adding to those. Okay, and once you get that nose done, let's go ahead and fill in the head. Being careful to go all the way around our horns. Not paint into those, because those are going to be a very bright yellow. So we want to leave those alone if we can. Okay, go all the way around. Okay. Use the tippy point of your brush if you're using a bigger one to get in between the horns. There we go. Once that's completely covered and all of your drips are out, okay, we're not going to rinse our brush. We're going to do one more thing real quick before we rinse our brush. Let's just first make sure it's completely covered, okay? So while my brush is still full of green, I'm going to put a tiny bit of this dark green on the corner, just like that, okay? Just a little bit on the very corner of my brush. And we're going to give our nose a little shading right here. You're going to put that green against the edge of your nose and follow it all the way around. Really slow. Okay, that's going to show us where our nose is. So just follow that line going back and forth right along there. Okay. I'm just going to go back this way and make sure our nose is covered. You can go back and add an outline here in a little bit if you want to, but I like to just kind of add this little shading and leave it alone if we can. Okay. Good work if you tried that. It's a little tricky, right? Just do your best. Okay. Okay, so we got our dinosaur nose on there. Then we have our spikes on here. I'm just going to go around my spikes. Make sure they're nice and covered before we move on, because we won't come back to it. Okay, just adding a little bit of that dark green if you want to shade it, and along the edge of our head. There we go. Perfect. And along our feet. Make sure those are completely covered. Okay, now once we've finished our head, you don't need to rinse your brush. You can just leave this green on and go right into your next shade of green. But if you feel like your brush is drying out, you'll want to make sure to add a little bit of water to it. Okay, so I'm going to get some more white, just a little bit, and add it to my dark green. Okay, here we go. Now I'm going to get a little bit of my yellow, add it to my dark green. I'm making another shade of green, but this is just going to be slightly darker than my last one, right? You can keep mixing until you like the color. The idea is to have two different shades of green. One is lighter and one is darker. Okay, there we go. I like that. So we're going to fill in our spikes now. Here we go. The reason we want to put some white in it is the white helps this green not be so translucent. If you can see right through your green and that's bothering you, make sure you're adding that white to your paint, okay? That will really help. Okay, we're going to carefully go around each of our spikes here, being careful to not pick up our brush if we can help it as we go around. We're going to follow them all the way down to the very edge of our egg here. Okay, there's our foot. So now I'm going to bring out my brush and smooth it out. Let's try and keep our egg red, right? We don't want to mix it with green right now. So this part we have to be really careful with. And come right up to the edge. Okay. There's that spike. Let's add it over here too. We're going to try not to pick up our brush as we come around all the way down. There we go. Follow it along the edge of our egg. Back up. Brush it out. Okay, let's go around our head. As careful as we can, right? Okay. Now you can keep on darkening this green if you want to. If you want to make it darker, you can go back over it. Put as many layers as you want on there. Just gonna keep going though. I like this shade of green. Just being really careful not to touch my horns. I want to leave those alone. Okay. Go around here. Brush out your paint as you go so you don't get any drips on there. All the way around that horn. It's pretty tricky, right? Getting around all that. almost there. We're gonna finish up the top here. Carefully going around those horns on this side. All right. Make sure you have enough paint. This is a lot of green, huh? So we need to add some water if it's starting to dry up. Okay, we're gonna do the very top edge here around our horn. Try not to pick up that brush as we go around the edge. Nice. And last one. And there we have it, guys. We've completely covered our horns. Now just make sure you've brushed everything, smoothed it all out. Okay. Looks pretty good. All right, so there we have it. 2 shades of green on that dinosaur. Okay, let's do our feet now. I'm just mixing up a little bit more paint. Gotta make sure I have enough for my feet. Okay, so I'm mixing a little more here. All right. Now let's put our feet in right here. I'm gonna try and keep my brush from I'm trying to keep my brush solid here as I go around and not pick it up. See, it gives you a smoother circle going all the way around there. There we go. Got one foot done. Let's go do our other one. Go all the way around. Do it on this side too. Trying not to pick up our brush. And see the red that we got into our foot earlier? That can just be covered right up right here. Right? All the way around. Okay, smooth out your paint. If there's anything that's dripping, you can get it. Okay. Just gonna put any extra paint I have on my brush up here in my horns. Use it all up before I move on. There we go. All right, guys, good work. So now that we've finished our dinosaur, we're gonna rinse our brush out. Pretty good here. There we go. Just make sure we clean it really well. Okay. And we're going to let our dinosaur dry for just a minute while we do our background. My background is blue. This blue is really dark. So what I want to do is take some white over here and mix a little bit of my blue with my white until I love the color. You can go as dark or as light as you want. I'm going to keep mine pretty light. I like that color. So now I'm going to come over here and start filling in my background. Up and down. This is where you can wrap the edges. So take your brush around the sides and paint the sides as well as you go. And the top. Reach way up there and paint the top. Get the sides of your canvases all finished. Go, going side to side and up and down all the way around our dinosaur. I like to paint my sides and all the way around before I get too close. Bring it in. That way it gives my dinosaur just a minute to dry before I start painting around him. Or her. I guess it depends on what you're doing. Okay. Now that I've gotten all the way around, I have the blue on my brush. I'm going to add a little bit of white on the corner, just like that, because I like these strokes around my paintings. Helps cover up anything that might be bothering me and gives all of that extra space something. Call that filling negative space. So So I'm going to go all the way around all these little horns real carefully, trying not to touch them. Follow it around. And if you get those streaks in your painting, you can just leave them. Leave them there. It really gives your painting some character. Okay, so just slow down as you go around your spikes. All the way around. Back up. I'm trying not to pick up my brush as I go. It takes some practice, but you can do it. Go all the way around and up. If you get a little bit in, it's okay. You're going to come back and outline in a minute. So no big deal. Okay, we're going to come down this side. Up and down. Trying hard to just leave those strokes alone. Makes it kind of fun. Okay, at this point, we have to remember to breathe. Because when we get that close, we're all concentrating pretty hard, right? I'm gonna go around here. And we're gonna get this bottom one too. There we go. Okay, we're finishing up our egg. Make sure you check your sides. Paint the sides of your canvas right here. If you forgot them, sometimes we forget the top or the bottom or a side. So while you have that blue on your brush, you can double check. And let's slow down as we go around our egg right here. Make sure we don't bump it. There we go. Okay, I think we have our background done. Looks good. Okay, once you have your background finished, we're gonna rinse our brush again. Always rinse that brush, right? Make sure it stays clean. Double check it before we move on to another color. All right, now that we've done our background, we're gonna add our spikes, and I'm gonna switch my brush. I want to use a smaller brush this time. It's a flat still, it's just a little bit smaller. Okay, so I'm gonna use this smaller one, get a little bit of white, and mix that with my yellow. There we go. Mix it in with our yellow. Come up here to our spikes. Let's just fill them in. Right. Carefully around. Your green should be dry by now. It shouldn't still be wet, but if it is, just be really careful here not to get your green in your yellow. Okay. Yellow shows everything. So you really want to slow down if your paint is still wet up there. Fill this in all the way around the top and the bottom. You see how I'm taking my brush and I'm trying to not pick it up and go in a circle motion? It's all in the wrist. Just takes some practice getting used to. And come along the top. That. We're going to paint this one over here. Just want to make sure you have some white in your yellow as you go. That is the key with our yellow. Okay, I'm going to try and go all the way around. The nice thing is the green and the yellow are friends. So if you get any yellow in your green, it's super easy to just wipe it off really quick. Or let it be even. It may not even show too much. All right, so now that we have our yellow spikes on there, we're gonna put yellow on our two little paws here. Okay. Or feet, I don't know. Do dinosaurs have paws? Or feet? Whatever you wanna call them, right? Okay, we're gonna come over here with our small flat brush, and you're gonna do little humps here. Your brush. 1, 2, 3, just like that. And then you're going to follow along the bottom, smooth it out, Now this is just the first layer. You just want to be able to see where you want those to go. Okay. Now we're going to come over to this side. 1, 2. See how I'm moving my brush in a rainbow shape all the way around? That's the goal, to not pick up your brush and get that shape. Got to train your wrists to do that. It's good practice. Okay, so now that we see where our paws are going to go, I am going to put some white on the corner of my brush just like that. And come up here to our horns again. Oh, I had some green on my brush. Okay, if you get green on your brush like that, you want to rinse it out real quick because it's going to contaminate your paint. Okay, so you don't want green on it. Let's put some white back on there in our yellow. Put some white on our brush. Come up here to our horn and follow it with white along the edge. Okay, just the edge has white on it. Just like that. Okay, we're going to come up to the middle one. This is where the light is reflecting on our horns. Right? So anywhere you might feel that light is reflecting, we can put that white on our horns. Brush it in. If you add too much white and you don't love it, it's really easy. Just put some more yellow on your brush and go right back over it. But the idea is to just add that light wherever you feel like it's reflecting on the edge of your horn to give it some dimension. Okay. So now we have the light on our horn. I'm going to go back to my toes now and get some white on my brush and just fill those in. Make sure that we have white on there. You can come back and add more yellow later, but we need to cover up that green. Okay, so we're going to put those toes on there. There's a thick piece of paint there. You want to make sure you brush out any thick paint so it can dry for you. Here we go. And let's put a little more on this one over here. All the way around. Keeping our brush moving in a rainbow pattern. And then smoothing out the bottom. There we go. Now when we come back and add some more yellow, it'll cover it right up. All right. Looking good, guys. We get to add the fun stuff now to our painting to finish it up and bring our dinosaur to life. Okay, so now that our egg is dry, I am going to switch brushes. I'm going to rinse this one out though. Always rinse your brush out. We're going to switch to our detail brush. A detail brush is a very small brush that we can do little places with. See that? Okay, and I'm going to put it in some water and let's get some red on it. This is going to be fun. I like doing this part. So I'm putting just red on my brush. And we're going to make it look like we have a crack in our egg. Okay, so let's take this detail brush and you're going to make a triangle shape. Up and then back down, just like that. And this coming back down is a little longer. And then you're going to go back up. A little longer crack. See how each line is a little bit longer than the other? Okay. And then this first line, we're going to thicken it up. Make it look like there's a big crack in our egg. Thicker there and here. But as I get to the end of my crack here on the egg, I let it thin out and get smaller towards the end. See that? Okay, so it's bigger at the very beginning. And then it thins out as I go. So I'm going to come here and stop and let it thin out. There you go. Okay. We're going to fill them in with our yellow paint. Now you can see that they're completely covered, huh? Looking good. There we go. Fill in those little toes. Okay. All the way around. Good work. Okay, our toes are done. They look awesome. Super cute. All right, we're gonna let those be. I'm gonna rinse my brush again. Always rinse our brush, right? Make sure it stays clean. Okay, now that I've rinsed my brush, we are going to add some black. Everyone should have a little bit of black. We want to make sure our black has some water in it, so it's nice and loose. Okay, here we go. I'm going to take my black and we're going to paint a little smile and some eyes. Okay, so here's our little detail brush. I'm going to decide where I want my eyes to be. Mine are pretty far apart. They're right under my horns. So I'm going to come right over here under my horn and shape a little circle. You want to start small because you can always get bigger. Okay, but circles are tricky. So take your time. And you don't have to do it just like me. If you have a different idea for an eye, we would love to see it. We like to see what you guys come up with. So I'm going to come right here under my other horn, and we're going to paint another little eye directly under the horn. We're going to try and match it up, but it's really tricky to do, so just do your best. We're going to fill in that eye. Okay. All the way around. Remember to start small. Our black gets big really fast, right? Okay, so we have our little eyes on there. Good work. Super cute. Okay, now that our eyes are on, we're going to give our dinosaur a little smile. And our smile is right here, right in between our egg and right below our horn. Okay, so we're going to come right here and give him a little smile. Just like that. Now he's a happy dinosaur. And his nose is just on each side of his mouth. And you're going to do a little tiny line. One here, just like that. And one right on the other side. Straight down, kind of on an angle. See that? Love it, super cute. Okay, so while you have your detail brush full of black, let's do a little bit of outlining, okay? I'm just gonna add a little bit of dark black to the crack of our egg here. See how it just helps it stand out a little bit? Okay, and we're going to just do a little bit of outlining on our egg if you want. This is optional. I don't outline the whole egg. I just outline some of it. We're going to find little areas that we want to outline. And you can put some black there. And it's kind of random. Put a little bit on this side here. It just helps our egg pop a little bit. And we have a little bit here. Just like that. Some coming down on this side as well. All right. You want to bring some up from the bottom of your canvas. Just let it fade out, okay? Along the edge of your egg. I don't do the whole thing, just a little bit. All right, now we're going to come up here to our foot. Just add a little bit of outlining to that. See how it just helps it stand out a little bit? It's not super critical, okay? So if you don't want to take the time to do this, you don't have to. I'm going to come around this side as well. And along the bottom, just a little bit there. Okay. And then up here on our horns, I'm going to add some outline wherever there might be a shadow. So you know how we added light to area that we felt the light was touching the horn. Now we're going to add shadow to our horn. So we'll do the opposite side of where your white is with a little bit of your outline. Wherever you think there might be a shadow on your horn. All the way around, just like that. All right, you guys, it looks awesome. Okay, let's rinse our brush out. Make sure it's really clean. Okay, now our brush is really clean, and I'm going to go to my dark green. It's not mixed with any white, just our dark green. Okay, and this is where you can just outline your horns with the dark green. I'm not spending too much time. You can go nice and fast on that. All the way around your head, your cheeks, just like that. Just adds that separation to our painting. It helps it stand out, okay? Separates our head from our horns a little better. All the way around here. Okay. This is where you can go across the top of your nose too if you want to. I think I'm gonna leave mine. I'm gonna outline that. Be really careful not to mix your paints too much as you go. Okay, let's do these little horns over here. Just follow it around all the way up. This is where you can go kind of fast. You just don't want to push too hard with your brush. That takes some practice though. It's okay if your lines are thicker. It's all about how hard you push with your brush. It just makes different lines for us. Go all the way around. Okay, now my outlining is all done. This is where right here, if you wanted to, you could go along the edge of your nose and outline that, or you can leave it just the way it is. You just want to make sure that you can tell the separation between your nose and your head. Okay, good outlining, guys. I'm gonna rinse my brush. Make sure it's really clean. Okay, I'm just gonna take a little bit of black on my brush again here, and make sure you add some black if you want to wherever your horns are. Same brush, and I'm not adding a lot of black. It's pretty random where I put it again. Not all the way around, just in some areas. Just so we have those high and low lights showing up. And you can decide where you want them. Okay? All right, guys. Let's do our finishing touches. I'm rinsing my brush really good. And I'm gonna put some white on it to add a little bit of a highlight to my egg. So right here along my egg, taking some white on my detail brush and curving a smile right there. We're going to curve a little bit of a rainbow shape along the top of his feet there, both of them, just like that. And then we're going to put some in his horns right here. Just follow it along there and let it fade away. And put some along the top where the light might be reflecting. And some right here. I contaminated my white. Make sure your white is really clean on your brush. Okay, we're going to come right along here. There's our reflection. Okay, let's also put one more just along the top of his nose right here. Just so it doesn't look flat, it looks round, right? So cute. Okay, and if you want to, you can add some to the very top of his toes. You can add some white there. Now I'm going to flip my brush around and use the back. You know, our chocolate chip. Let's flip our brush around. Get a good chocolate chip there with our white paint. And put a little sparkle in his eye. One there. And one over here. Make sure you have a good chocolate chip. Perfect. So cute, guys. I just got a little bit. When that happens, all you gotta do is get some white on your brush and cover it right up, right? No problem. There we go. We'll outline it. Make sure it's cleaned up. And there you have it. All right, you guys, good work. Thank you for painting with me today. We're going to do our final little touch here, which is our signature, because we worked really hard together, didn't we? And we're proud of this painting. So I'm going to take my small little detail brush here and find a special place for my signature. I think I'll do it right here along the edge of my egg. So find a special spot to put your name. So everyone will know you completed this piece. All right, you guys, thanks for painting with me today. Be sure to tag us and share your pictures. We want to see them, and we hope to see you really soon in our studio. Bye.